Karate chop. Karate chop. Well, that's about it.
I would like to give Lowe's Home Improvement Center a special thank you for making this project possible. With over 2,000 stores nationwide, including Canada, consider Lowe's next time you do a home improvement project. Wide variety of items, including tools, all the lumber that you would ever need in a lifetime, including all kinds of appliances and paints. Lowe's Home Improvements. Let's make something.
As you see, I've been busy. These are quite literally 4 kitchen cabinets, and I ripped off the base off of them. That's the toe guard that makes the kitchen cabinets stand at 34.5 inches tall. That's the kickboard. I just quite literally just ripped it off with my saw over here, and this is the result. They stand exactly at 30 inches tall, give or take, because I don't know if my cuts are even or not. Probably not. But what am I going to do? I have it mocked up here to the width of my drone room, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like dry fit them for now, because I have a lot of painting and a lot of work to do in that room before I can actually do a final install of these. Final install, I'm going to paint these a nice white, and I'm going to have a dark type of pewter pulls on here, hand pulls, and on top I'm going to go ahead and spend the dinero and do it right. I'm going to put a nice thick butcher block countertop over here, and this is going to be my drone workshop, and it's going to be in my workspace. Now on the base of these, I don't know if I got the base cut exactly even, so I'm not having headaches later on. You see here, I'm going to pull this back. I just went ahead and just cut off the base over here. So what I'm going to do, there's a lip there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the hardware store and buy some nice 1.5 or 2 inch oak, and I'm going to use those as fillers. I'm going to glue and screw them on the bottom. I know oak is probably going overboard, but I know at least that lumber is going to be straight and true when I go ahead and put them on the bottom, because I want everything to be a uniform, even height. And so when I do install them in my room, I won't have any problems with getting these absolutely level as I possibly can. Yeah, let me show you the room that I'm going to put these in, and please excuse the tornado that went through there, but right now I'm living out of boxes. As you see here, my drone stuff has even invaded my kitchen table. Can't wait to get my room all fixed up here. And this is it in here. I'm gonna turn on the light so you can see. Yeah, see the disaster? So on this back wall, I'm gonna have 2 cabinets on this wall with the nice butcher block countertop over the top. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cleaned up in here, moved out of the way. I'm gonna mock up the cabinets in here today, and I'm not gonna install them, because what I want to do is I also have to find the points where I have to cut the baseboard. I'm gonna cut the baseboard out of the way so I can move the cabinets as close to the wall as possible, so I can get those all shimmed up and fastened to the wall. But I won't do any of that fastening to the wall, because what I'm going to do is after I cut the baseboard, I'm going to go ahead and paint this whole entire I guess this burgundy paint. It's going to be painted. I'm tired of this paint. I feel like I'm closed in here, and I'm going to get this all painted, cabinets installed, countertop installed, and I'm going to have an absolutely nice drone room. Eventually I'm going to have cabinets that are on the wall here, as well as some bookcases or whatever, some shelving in there, so I can go ahead and store my drones on it. And I'm going to get all my decks and my awards out of here and moved off this wall and get this all cleaned up, and I'll have a nice workspace. I'm going to get rid of that couch. It's just taking up too much room, Doesn't make any sense in this small little room. This stays because I do use it a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna have a nice workspace. This cabinet right here, this bookcase is gonna be out of here. Go off somewhere else. And this television, I'm gonna go ahead, that mounting bracket more centered in here somewhere. Television mounted on the wall. I may have some cabinets and cabinetry in here. I don't want to get the space too tight, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this television mounted on the wall, get this out of here, and man, I'll tell you what, I'll have enough room in those cabinets. Check out all the storage in here, all underneath. Man, I can put some shelving in here, do all kinds of stuff in here. Man, whoa! That's what happens when I don't have it in there right away, all the way. But yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of space, a lot of space. Nice deep shelves. So I'm looking forward to it. For this portion of the remodel, I'll be using a gallon of Sherwin-Williams Infinity Advanced Hiding Paint and Primer, quality since 1866. And I'll be using Purdy horsehair paintbrushes, as well as 3M baseboard and trim tape, 3M sandpaper, 400 and 800 grit, and a 3M sanding block. Hi. I have a 3M sanding block, thanks to Lowe's. It's a really nice block. 800 grit sandpaper. I kicked down the paint just enough so there's really not a whole lot of rough edges or paint bubbles. It's just nice and smooth. I have one area in here I need to go ahead and continue knocking down gently. But this is going to be the final layer of paint. Now don't be too alarmed. You're still going to see the wood grain in here. You're not going to go. It's not going to be a total like a epoxy acrylic finish like you would see from a spray-on finish. I don't have a sprayer, and the whole idea of this is just for a novice home improver to be able to pick up some stock cabinets at Lowe's and be able to go ahead and do a hobby room, or for me, a drone room build out. But as I go ahead and continue the build, it's going to take a while. I'm going to go ahead and walk through and how to install the cabinets, how to level cabinets, as well as install the butcher block countertop. Okay, here's a cabinet drawer that I took off earlier, and I started painting. And you see here, I just put a nice thin layer of paint down here. I went ahead and thinned out the latex paint with some water, knowing that the grain would be raised. Earlier I went ahead and sanded this down. It was really nice and smooth, but I knew that that was just a deception, and that's why you want to go ahead and put the first layer on really thin. You see how there's a lot of grain that's poking through? Well, I'm going to go ahead and sand that off. I'm going to sand this nice and smooth again, so when I start putting on my other layers of paint, it'll be nice and smooth. So what I'm using now is 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to start working with the grain. See, the grain is going this way. I'm going to start working with the grain to kick down all those high spots. And right now, just from that, it's really smooth. And you want to go ahead and get this as smooth as possible, because it's going to make your subsequent layers of paint much easier to apply without, well, with minimal sanding. I'll probably still end up sanding some just to kick down the paintbrush strokes, but there won't be any grain poking through. See that? It's really, remember how it looked before? And now it is like as smooth as a baby's bottom. That is smooth right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue on to make it even, because I still have some rough spots in here. I'm going to use my fingers to, and then I'm going to go ahead and use some alcohol, wipe it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the sides. So that's how you make a cabinet drawer smooth. You want to go ahead and put a thin layer of watered down paint down to raise up that grain, then you go ahead and sand it down. You can make it really nice. Okay, I'm pretty much done sanding. I got some spots here I need to touch up and along the edge. Again, you're not going to be perfect, but you don't want it too much where there's too much of that paint bubbles coming up on the sides. It's not going to be perfect. Don't worry about the back side, because again, the back side you're not going to be able to see because the doors are going to be closed for most of their life until you open it and you want to put some stuff in your cabinet. But you're not, if somebody enters your room or wherever you have your cabinet installed, they're not going to see the rear side of the cabinet. They're going to be looking at the face side of the cabinet. So that's where you want to spend most of your time, is on the face, making that face look nice. So that's tip number 1. Touch up and do some final sanding. Okay, tip number 2. These brushes are horsehair, and over the course of time these will dry out on you, and you want to make sure that you clean them and clean them often. So you want to just use some nice gentle warm water to get as much of the paint that is built up between the bristles off as much as possible. Then you want to clean them with a gentle run-of-the-mill kitchen utensil soap. And work that in there really nice, real gentle. Make sure you got all the bristles nice and clean. And you want to do this often. Don't try to rush your job to get the paint done quickly, or your paint will not look good. So you want to go ahead and make sure you clean your brush as often as possible. And just by doing this little step is going to pay off in dividends in your final job. It's going to go ahead and look really nice. We will call that clean for now, because I'm going to go ahead and reuse this brush, continue using this brush. Now the next step you want to do is you want to find somebody with hair. And the reason why you want to find somebody with hair is because oftentimes they'll buy this stuff. This is just your hair conditioner. Now this is going to go ahead and reintroduce a little bit of moisture into these horsehair brushes. And you want to go ahead and just mix that in there really nice and let it set up. Right now it's starting to feel soft. It smells good. But it's going to soften up your bristles. Because you ever paint something and you'll try to clean off the paint as much as possible, then you'll store your brush, and then the brush is really rigid. Well, this is going to save you from you know, when you pull that paintbrush out, when it's after it's been dried a while, it won't be stiff. It'll be nice and soft. So tip number 2. Clean your brush, do it often, use some gentle kitchen detergent, and then find somebody that has hair and use a little bit of their conditioner. And then you go ahead and rinse that conditioner off, and these bristles are like brand new when I bought them. Oh, look at that, nice, and they smell good too. There you go. Smells like hair. Conditioner. Doesn't matter what type of brand. Just any conditioner will do. Now I am finished with the sanding, and it's pretty close to where I need it to finish painting this cabinet drawer face. I have another drawer face I need to paint, and one kitchen cabinet box will be completely done, and I got 3 more left to do, just like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those painted up, and in the next video hopefully I'll show you the paint that I chose for the room, and then get these cabinets installed. Now for the back sides of the cabinets, you have an option. You can go ahead and lightly sand them, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and paint them up, because after all, this is not the money side. This is going to be actually closed inside the cabinet, and the only time you'll ever see them is when you open the door. Make sure you remove the hardware before you start painting, because it just looks unprofessional when hardware is painted over. And these little plastic tabs, if you get any paint on there, you can just wipe them off with a tissue. So, and that's going to be one door done. Now this door is complete. I did not sand this at all. All I did is applied 2 layers of Sherwin-Williams Infinity Satin interior paint, and I didn't sand this because this is not the money side. It's on the other side. This side is going to remain closed for most of its life, but I do have some high spots where the paint bled over from when I painted the front, the face side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kick down that paint, and the reason why I'm going to do that on the side, on this back side, is so the door sits in the cabinet correctly. I don't want anything to be bound up when these doors do close on the cabinet. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of gently, I'm going to use my 3M 800 grit sandpaper and gently just knock down those high spots. I'm going to go with the grain, and it's just going to take a little bit. And I'll tell you what, doing that step is going to save you from headaches later down the road where you have to go ahead and remove these doors off the cabinets to do that. So, and that's just a little tip to do before you reinstall these doors into the cabinets. All right, change of plans. I stopped back by my favorite home improvement store. I'm sure you can guess which one that is. And this is going to take me forever to paint 3 more cabinet faces, to include the door faces, to include the, and I don't have forever. I only budgeted 3 weeks for this build. It took me all day just to paint what I showed you on this video, all day long. It does do a fantastic job, but I just don't have the time to paint it by brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and prime them with some nice kills here. Right here, nice latex kills. I'll go ahead and paint each one of them. I'll sand them down first, and I'll paint them with kills, and then I'm gonna go ahead and spray them with this Krylon Fusion Satin White. I'll just go spray them, be done with it, and then I can go ahead and press on to the build. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a link to my home improvement channel where all the woodworking aficionados can go ahead and check out if they so like. Please stick with me if you are on my drone channel. This is all part of the droneism of isms. I'm building out a drone room, and so I can go ahead and start producing some drone builds, building my own quadcopters. So we'll talk to you later.